So this is the Kennedy Center today, and apparently Donald Trump is having people work to put his name physically on the building. We heard that they want to do the name changes, and I guess they're actually physically doing it. This is the social media of the Kennedy Center. It says, American flag, sneak peek, American flag. Our board recognizes that our chairman, President Donald J. Trump, has not only saved this historic building, but also created a truly bipartisan place to celebrate the arts. Some exciting changes are coming to reflect that. Stay tuned. And here's another picture of said building. It's hard to talk about this stuff because it doesn't, it feels like a South Park timeline to me. It doesn't feel real. And yet, I can see the pictures of this thing, and then we know that Trump wants to build this stupid ballroom. And I scratch my head. I can kick, I can scream. It's just, this is what's going on. I'll just say this: that there's a politician today in the EU. This is Helmut Brandstatter from Vienna, I believe, from Austria. And he has some things to say about Elon Musk, which I think captures the world that we live in and why maybe people feel angry about some things and ignore other things. Let's watch what he has to say.
Elon Musk is doing a lot of research for self-driving cars. Just imagine the system will be the strongest, the most aggressive car will always have priority. It's impossible, would be a lot of dead people. But what's happening right now? On X, it's exactly that. The most hateful postings, they have the most viewers because of the algorithm. So the algorithm he's organizing is against us. And the next thing, he's buying politicians in the United States, even judges. And that's what he wants to do in Europe as well. He wants to buy European politicians, and he already tries to influence European politics. And we're standing here and say, no, that's fine. No, it's not fine. We will not accept it. And if the right-wing people say there is censorship, yes, there is censorship right now, because the algorithm of Mr. Musk, they are censorship. People cannot see what they want. They have to see what Musk gives them, and that is hateful. As a former journalist, I know, and as an editor-in-chief, you have a lot of responsibility. And Musk has everything, but no responsibility. No, on the contrary, he wants hateful speech, and if you have that on a normal medium, you would go to jail. So that's the point. Mr. Musk must accept, he has to have responsibility.
The stuff that people see or don't see, right, reflect what you're thinking about on a daily basis, how you handle the world. For many people out there in the Trump and the Musk world, they have to work essentially, 2 jobs just to make ends meet. They don't have time to dive into every single issue, which I completely understand. I totally understand that, right? If just your primary concern is to just survive, which makes perfect sense because things are so expensive out there and jobs don't pay enough. And then maybe you only have a half hour every day to check what's going on. Or maybe if you do check what's going on, because many people these days, young people, they just look at TikTok or whatever, you're doing it in like 30-second to a minute bursts. And so then all communication needs to be that short. And then when Elon Musk or whoever runs said platforms, you only have a limited amount of time, and then they kind of pump up certain types of messages. This is sort of where we are right now. So maybe the Kennedy Center thing, what I just showed you guys, maybe people don't actually see this. To me, this is pretty whacked out. I mean, I don't think this is normal by any stretch. I can't imagine any other president doing this. I don't want to get into it, but I'll just say, just imagine if anyone else started putting their face up everywhere and their name on everything, it would just be bonkers. But I guess because Elon Musk platforms is making it more normal to accept that Trump is your supreme leader and God, I guess so. Because it reminded me of this, and this is something that Musk has many fan clubs out there. This one here is called Tesla Owners of Silicon Valley. I've talked about these people before. They throw parties for Musk. They talk about Musk like every single day and how great and awesome he is. And it's like really weird. And then I guess according to this, they're saying breaking X now employs you to explore trend posts. Go to explore trending. And then they have a picture of a couple of their Tesla promoters, people. That's the Herbert dude. That's the Alexander person. If you ever see these people, you'll say, oh my God, are these people for real? But yeah, sadly they are. And sadly there's people who actually listen to this stuff. And if you don't push back on this stuff, unfortunately, I think it's going to get worse. And what I think is going to happen after Trump goes away, because he's on his way out, because right now the Republicans are fighting over who to replace him. Basically, I think it's whoever Musk is going to support, or whoever cozy up most to the big billionaire class money. Could it already be Vance? Possible. This is what Erica Kirk is saying about said thing.
I'm also really excited about everything that we're doing at Turning Point Action. We are locked in and mission focused for both 2026 and 2028. We're investing in states and not just in races. So what I mean by that is we are building the red wall, Arizona, Nevada, New Hampshire. That's going to be very important to us. We're going to ensure that President Trump has Congress for all 4 years. We are going to get my husband's friend, J.D. Vance, elected for 48 in the most resounding way possible.
And so you can literally see them talking it there, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean Vance is guaranteed to, be the Republican nomination or president or whatever. But if Elon Musk is going to support it, if Musk's platform is going to start pushing out, a bunch of Vance stuff, and we'll see how this is going to play out. I mean, it's the whole thing. I just want to try to, get a more top level view and just look at what's happening. I know then you can get in the fights of what's going on with Vance, and does Vance and the Kirk, are they connected or whatever? If you want to talk about that stuff, you totally can. And then people get sucked into that because that's what you want to watch. And it's hard because in this environment, the algorithm sort of favors more of the gossip stuff. It's just what it is. I'll show you guys what else. I guess they're fighting now. Ben Shapiro, if you want to listen to these people, you can. He was saying that basically a lot of people in the Turning Point or Republicans are frauds and grifters, which I thought was pretty interesting. Traffic conspiracy, conspiracism and dishonesty, conservative movement is in serious danger. Then you got, I guess, Tucker Carlson, who's also part of this stuff. He was pushing back, talking about deplatforming, forced denunciations, red guard control, revolution, whatever. It's just, that's who these people are. If you want to watch them talk, you can. The problem is, though, is like, let's say if you don't want to watch these people talk, maybe Elon Musk is going to be pushing that stuff out to you, having his ridiculous election lotteries or whatever. That's where we're at. And then you got people just screaming, and I'll just show you just a second of it just so you can see.
What you're watching now, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims? It's disgusting. And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not.
I don't even know what we're talking about, but that's what it's like. And if you ask, I'll just show you what Shapiro looks like a little bit.
About something even more important: how to discern those attempting to speak.
Yeah. They all always have this weird speaking pattern about these people, and I showed the bit stuff to my wife before, and I told you guys about this, and the first thing she said is like, these are like going to church. It's like, hearing a pastor talk. it's like a religion, a cult, however you want to say it, right? So there's that. This is an interesting one also. Someone writes, only 12 days left for Musk's robotaxis to cover, quote, about half the U.S. population. Misleading shareholders with false projections of future earnings can actually be a crime in the USA. And I guess they're referring to any number of things that Musk, same kind of people, that Musk has promised in the past, right? And like this kind of stuff, factually, it's very easy to figure out that someone's a liar, someone's misleading, someone's a con artist. Isn't it obvious? But what they do is, for Trump and Musk, is they just like, okay, forget about that last promise I gave you. Here's a new promise. And you're like, oh, okay, new promise. Okay, forget about the $5,000 check. Now there's a $2,000 check. Forget about that $2,000 check. Now there's a $1,776 check. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And there are people calling it out. We talk about it on our channel, in our community. I also want to show you what Bernie Sanders is saying today, because I think it's a great call out of Musk. Have a listen to this.
Hello, Elon Musk. This is Senator Bernie Sanders. I was delighted to hear that through the rapid advancement in artificial intelligence and robotics that you are funding, you will be bringing about utopia to the world. You have told us that poverty will be wiped out, work will be optional, there will be universal high income, and that everyone will have the best medical care, food, home, transport, and everything else. That is wonderful news. I just have a couple of questions. How will this utopia come about? If young people can't find the entry-level jobs that used to exist, and they are unemployed without income, when are they going to get the free housing you talk about? If manufacturing workers lose their jobs because robots take their place, when are they going to get the free health care you promise? If a young nurse with kids loses her job, how is she going to get the food she needs to feed her family? I look forward to hearing about how you and your other oligarch friends are going to provide working people with a magnificent life that you promise. Because let's not forget, Donald Trump, the guy you got elected, is kicking 15 million people off their health care, doubling insurance premiums.
I want to show you a bit of Bernie. Bernie's got a sense of humor there a bit, and also a good attacking criticism of Musk, right? Because when I show you guys Musk stuff every now and then, where Musk promises you're all going to have robots, we're all going to be rich, or same with, Trump promising you that we're getting trillions and trillions of dollars and you're all going to be rich, etc. I mean, doesn't anyone ever look at these people and just you guys are crazy? Or just ask the simple question of where's the money? I mean, there's any number of ways you can pick this stuff apart, but that goes back to, I guess for some people, if you're so deep embedded in, be it that Turning Point stuff or the Charlie Kirk and, Erica Kirk stuff, or if you watch whoever, I don't know, Ben Shapiro or Carlson all day nonstop, I guess your mind gets to be so, I don't know, narrow or culty falling that you don't have any critical thinking skills anymore. I mean, it's hard to talk about this stuff because you have to do it in a way that talks to that audience, but then understand that they're so used to a certain form of communication, right? So, if you need me to go beep, 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 and if that's the only way to get your attention, I guess I'll do that every episode. But I do want to put this stuff out there for people who don't need the beeps and the bloops and the screams and the yells, and show you that there are people who call this stuff out. And I do think the algorithm has a lot to do with this stuff, because I notice when you look at something like, say, Musk will tweet out, or the last one we talked about was the Fuentes dude, and essentially he's working in what's the right word to say it? There was a report from the university, Rutgers University, that was saying the algorithm was on his side, and he may be working with bots by trigger words or whatever. It's hard to do this every day. I'll just be frank, because how do you communicate to an audience that is controlled by Musk and Trump, and their minds are so narrow, and they only want to watch certain people who look a certain way and scream in a certain way, and I'll just leave it at that. But I try my best, guys, and if you're watching this, I do appreciate your time sincerely, and I just want you to know that you're not alone. And I every time I see Bernie, I'm just like, why isn't this dude president? That's just for me. For me, it's a frustration. And but I just hope more people wake up. And I think the midterms are coming, and I'm looking forward to that. You always got to be looking to the future of how can we make things better. And yeah, I see that the Kirks are going to try to build the red wall or whatever and put in Vance. I personally think Vance is really a weird guy and off turner, and we'll see how this plays out. I mean, you never know. You never know. That's why you show up to the polls to vote, and that's why you make your voice heard. So I do appreciate your time, everyone, and I'll catch you all in the next video.